up on her. Man! You probably heard me say that, huh?
I didn't hear you.
Got her! Yeah, there we go. Nice and fitting. Did you have any more questions? Ow! That's not a question! That is not a question!
I want my pot back! Give me my pot!
No!
I want my pot!
Oh, man. What's going on, guys? I'm MarsBuilt, and welcome back to another episode here on the Project Bedrock server. If you enjoyed that clip of our shenanigans, that happens later on in the episode, along with some more shenanigans. Now hold on tight, because we're about to start off this episode with a bang. Let's go! Ow. Well, not bang, but time-lapse. Yeah, let's jump into a time-lapse. Let's go! It's been a minute since we started with the time-lapse. I have a lot to show you. Let's get into it. And I do apologize for it being kind of a shorter time-lapse, but to be honest, I really haven't had a whole lot of time. My health has been flaring up. I've had a lot of doctor's appointments and all that good stuff, so I really haven't had the most time to record. But me, along with all the other members, have been very busy building over here in the gaming district, as you can see, and we have just made a, and I quote, minigame. Now, before I show you guys this, I do need to... What was... Pink? What happened? Gigi? I bet she changed out the fireworks inside of my shop. I've been stealing fireworks because I really don't want to go and make them, so I've been kind of stealing them from my shop, and I can almost guarantee you that she changed them all out. Anyways, I want to give credit where it is due and make sure that I eat before I blow up and die over top of this mini game. This is, and I quote, Dark Knight's mini game, which is Capture the Flag, and she's been working very, very hard on this and has made an incredible minigame, and the interior inside of this is completely phenomenal and fully complete. And I'm pretty sure that this game is pretty much done, so if you want to check this out, make sure that you go ahead and follow and subscribe to Dark Knight, which is one of our newer members. That way you can see her incredible builds like this. But anyways, I figured if we had Capture the Flag, then I'm like, well, I could probably come up with some redstone and make King of the Hill, which is what we have over here. This entire game is going to be King of the Hill, and as you can see, it is still in process as I blow myself up over top of it. And as you can see, we actually have some rooms over top of it that are all different. And I'll get more into that here shortly, but first we're going to go to the entrance of it, and we're going to go over it. So as soon as you walk in, we have a 3x3 door, and I still need to wire up the switch to this. I'm pretty sure it's going to be wired into the redstone for the game, so whenever the game starts, this door will close. And then if we hit that lever, you can see the door will close. And this is one of my 3x3 piston door designs. If you're interested in making this, it is on the channel. Just go to my channel and search 3x3 piston door. Kind of a cool door and a little bit different, but we're not here for the door, we are here for the minigame. So we have our colored chest here, and each color is going to be each team that's going to be playing. Now inside of this game, you can play anywhere from 2 teams all the way up to 4 teams, and it does not matter the amount of players that are on each team. So if you're on the gray team, then you're going to go to the gray chest, put all of your stuff in here, and then as soon as all of the team has put their stuff away, then they are going to go to their team color. They're going to walk up to this button and press it. Once they press it, they're going to drop down here inside of a tunnel that is going to take you down and into your team room. This tunnel, I've done some pretty cool lighting design underneath the floor, as you can see, and it's basically going to strobe in the direction that you need to go. It will only lead you to your team room, and all the other lanes are going to take the players to their own dedicated room. So if we turn around and go up this bubble column, you will see that this is the entrance, and then we also have the exit over here. I might put some trapdoors or something with a button over top of it, that way nobody inadvertently falls down, but the exits all tie together and basically go out the same way that we came in. Now this room is still in beta, and this door is going to be closed off because that's going to be the black team, this is going to be the gray team, and then we also have the pink team and the cyan team across the way. Now there is no connection between team color and room color, but if we walk out here, you will see that we have a bamboo room. So this is going to be one of the 4 rooms, and each room is going to be considered a hill. So if you're familiar with King of the Hill, the team that has the most amount of time on top of the hill is going to be the winning team. Now because we have 4 hills, there's only going to be 1 hill that is going to be active at any given time. And the way that we're going to dictate that is going to be the light above us. So if that light was lit up, that would mean that this hill is active, and this hill is going to be the only hill that you can score points at. The way that you're going to score points is coming into the hill, and if the light is on, then you are going to come over here and hit your team color. Now, you do have to be standing on the pressure plates. If you come in here and you're not on the pressure plate, it's just going to light up once, and then it's not going to actually take it and score any points. But if you actually stand on here and then you hit your team color, then you're going to have a tone, which I have not tuned any of the note blocks yet. And as soon as that tone goes off and the lights are lit up, you know that you are now accumulating points. Now if you leave these pressure plates, you're going to hear another tone, and that tone is basically going to tell you that you are no longer earning points and the lights are off, and that will basically happen anytime that you leave the pressure plates. Then you're going to have to re-hit your team color, or if somebody comes in here and kills you, then they can kill you, jump on top of the pressure plates, and then hit their team color, which will then start scoring points for their team. So basically, anytime that anybody leaves the pressure plates, whether it be jumping off or being killed, they're no longer scoring points. And since we're using stone pressure plates, you can't just throw items on and kind of cheese the system. It does actually have to be a player standing on the pressure plates. So we have the hills done. So where does the actual score accumulate? And that is going to be down this hallway into this room here. Now, whenever a game is going, these lights would be totally turned off until somebody scores points. They are like that because the system was just reset. But you're basically going to have these lights turn on. They're going to turn a lamp on roughly every 30 seconds that a team is scoring points on a hill. So you can see we have the light here, and then the second light would make up 1 minute, which would mean that then you have 4 minutes remaining, 3 minutes remaining, 2 minutes, and 1 minute going up. Now the minutes on this is referring to the amount of time that you have left on the hill to score points, not the actual game time. So if we go over here, we have a couple dials that we can select because this is multi-settable. You can set your match time, which is going to be a 10-minute game, a 20-minute game, or a 30-minute game. Right now it is set to 10 minutes, and then we also have the amount of time that you need to be on the hill to win. So you can turn this and set this to 1-minute game, but you might not want to do that if you're playing a 30-minute game. So if you're on a 30-minute game, you might find that it is better to set this on a 5-minute hill time, which I'm still adjusting and changing the wording on the sign, so it will probably be a little bit more descriptive whenever it's all done. We also have a toggleable second floor, so as you can see we have a balcony up there, and that balcony you can jump off of, but you will take damage. The reason why it is toggleable is because if you only have 2 teams in here and you have 1 player per team, so 2 people playing, you might not want a giant map to run around in because then you're never really going to see anybody. You're going to be able to sneak around and not really have any exciting gameplay. So You can toggle this floor on and off, so right now it is in the off position, and as you can see, both of our stairways are closed. But if you have 4 teams and each team has like 2 players each, so a total of 8 people playing, then you might want a larger playing map, so you can hit that. That's going to open up both of these stairways. And as you can see, that one opened, and now we have the entire map to run around in. So let's go ahead and reset this since that timer went off. And as you can see, whenever that reset button is ticked, we have the game ready light go off, we have the game resetting light going on, and then as soon as that is done resetting, which is dependent on the gameplay time, then it will then allow this light to come back on, and at that point you're able to play. So let's put this back on a 10-minute game for now, and let's do a quick tour. So before we go upstairs, let's go over and visit all 4 of the rooms. Keep in mind they are still being decorated by the team. So we have the cherry room here, which this light is currently on, saying that this hill is active. However, I have not hooked up any of these, so they may be on or they may be off. But in the end, only one will be on at a time. So this is the cherry room here. I'll show you the balcony up top once we go up top there. And then if we go over here, we're going to go across the way. I don't think these markers are going to be here. This is just for building. So if we go over here to the warped room, you can see that we kind of have the same thing. We have a warped balcony going around, the same light there. And we're going to be doing more decoration down here like we did inside of the cherry room. And then if we go over here, this is the bamboo room. So we have the bamboo balcony here with the active hill light on top. And again, more decorating needs to be done. And then if we go across the way here, we have the crimson room. And we have that lovely new 1.20 glitch that allows you to jump all over the place with the elytra. So this is the crimson room here, and if you look behind, you get a sneak peek at the crazy minigame that Moss is making. Make sure that you follow him, that way you don't miss that. And once again, we have more decorating to do in here. As I said, all of this is still in process. That switchboard in the back, I'll get more into that here shortly, but we're going to take up the stairway here. That's going to take us all the way up to the top. And if you somehow find a way to jump out of the minigame while it's playing, that's going to be a disqualification. You're no longer going to be inside of the game. And this is the second player balcony here. And apparently we have another player playing the game and hanging out, literally. So this is basically going to take you to the same place, just the balcony. Now the only 2 places that you can enter the upper floor is going to be those 2 stairways. You cannot get up here at all. However, you can jump down if you see somebody on the hill, and you can jump down and kill them. That way you can then start scoring your own points. However, as stated, there is going to be no way up in any of the 4 hill rooms. However, it is going to be a trade for a trade, because if you jump down there, then you are going to take damage, making it easier for the other player to kill you. So there is a lot of strategy that goes into it. Back up on the second floor, we have the other entrance to the warped room, which is pretty much a mirror of what we already have. The cherry room is going to be the most complete, which is going to be over here. And as you can see inside of this room, we have the hanging chains holding up the balcony, and this is pretty much going to be the final look, aside from probably some more decorating down below and maybe some up here as well. Now between the cherry room and also the crimson room, you could go back out the way that we came, or there is kind of a cut through here, kind of going through an engineering section to where you can see some of the redstone. Keep in mind, you're not going to have jump boosts, so you're not going to be able to jump over this rail. I'll give you a quick tour of the redstone down below momentarily. But if we head back over here, you can see that we have the crimson room as well, going for the same feel, just in a different color of course. And then the same thing goes, you can jump down off of here, but keep in mind you're not going to have any enchantments or feather falling or anything, and you will take a significant amount of damage. So these levers in the back, what exactly are these for? Well, in order for the system down below to know how many players are playing, we needed to put a way of doing it. So if you were playing with the pink team and the cyan team, then you're going to turn these on, letting the system know that there's 2 teams playing. That way it's ignoring these other 2 starting rooms. And what I mean by that is if we turn off the warped room, we'll leave the pink room on. And if we go through here, since that wall is missing, we can cut through here. So we can go down through here, and as you can see, we have a pressure plate with a light block inside of every room. And I guess the wall is not missing. We can fix that real quick. There we go. We'll just grab that and put that right back. No harm, no foul. As you can see, these 2 rooms are more complete than the other ones, as this is all still a work in progress, but each room has their own matching bed. So whenever you come up your bubble column, you're going to immediately set your spawn before going in playing. Once you have set your spawn and the whole team is ready, then they are going to pretty much ready up, which means standing on the pressure plate. So you can see if I stand on that pressure plate momentarily, nothing is going to happen. However, since we only selected the pink team, that means that we can technically activate the game with just one team. However, there is going to be a timer set, so if we stand on this, it's going to start the timer, and it's going to be roughly around 5 to 10 seconds. And as long as we stand on that pressure plate long enough, it's going to then sound a couple tones, and then open up that door when it's time to go, and that's the official start of the game. The timer is going to start running, and all of the teams are going to be released at the same time. Now, the reason why we have to have that selector for the teams out inside of the lobby is because the system needs to know how many teams are playing. That way it can ignore some of these pressure plates. So if you have all 4 teams set on the computer and you only have 2 teams playing, for example, it would be the pink team and then the cyan team across the other wall here. So if we have a player standing on that pressure plate and a player standing on this pressure plate, and the game thinks that there's 4 teams playing, then it's going to basically have this one ready and that one ready. However, it's going to be waiting for the other 2 pressure plates to be depressed, so then it would never start the game. So those levers allow the system to know we are only going to be paying attention to the pink and the cyan. That way we can start the game. Now this center lever is going to be to turn something else on and off. It's currently not hooked up, but I'm thinking of doing like a loot system to where every now and again it's going to drop some loot inside of the game. And that loot is going to be something like some gold armor, some golden weapons, something that doesn't last very long but does inflict more damage. So by default, you're going to be starting off with leather armor. I don't know if it's going to be a full set of armor. However, it's going to be dyed the colors of the dedicated teams. That way you can visually see what player is on what team. And then we're probably going to have wooden swords and bows. However, you might notice that I said bows. I did not say arrows. That's because the bow and arrow is going to be kind of a overpowered thing to have in here. So we're going to have bows that are given out inside of the very beginning of the game. However, arrows are going to be part of that loot that pops up. So every now and again, you're going to have some loot that's dispensed up out of the floor, or maybe some loot chests, I don't know, something of that sort. That way it can be automated. However, you're not going to have a whole lot of arrows, so players are probably going to have 1 arrow at a time, maybe even 2 or 3 if they save up long enough. However, inside of a game like this, an arrow can be a very powerful item, and we can even get into doing like enchanted arrows and stuff like that. However, there is going to be no enchantments for the armor or weapons aside from the arrows. And as you can imagine, if you're playing this game and you have a bunch of leather on and you're running around with a wooden sword, and you randomly have a golden sword pop up out of the floor, then that can be a very powerful thing whenever everybody else has leather armor. Now let's jump into Spectator and take a look at some of the stuff that makes this tick. Now the game is currently running, so since it's running, it has the game loading indicator on. That way people know that the game is active. The second floor is active since the doors are open, and you can toggle it by that second floor active button. And at any time you can reset the game. Now there's going to be 2 different ways that you can win this. You can win by accumulating enough points, i.e. being the team that finishes the set amount of time on the hill, or the time can run out. So right now it's counting down 10 minutes, and if the time runs out, then the person that has the most amount of points is going to win. And if 2 people have the same amount of points, then we can do a short game and kind of do like a face-off between the 2. Or if we wanted to get really technical, we could go back behind the system and count items. That way we could take it down to the seconds instead of the minutes. And if you're wondering why I haven't really uploaded in the past week, it's because I've been steadily beating my head up against a wall. And the wall that I have been beating my head up against is all of this redstone down here, and it kind of snakes all over the place. And as you can see, we have some wood here that redstone is on, and that's because, well, I ran out of wool block colors. I have pretty much all 16 colors inside of here, and I am still needing more to run redstone circuits to make this thing work. And so I'm not going to go over all of the different things in here and how it works, but it basically works by releasing a sword out of a dropper every second that it comes back from the hill. So if we go over here to the hill, we basically have some more redstone down here, which is fairly simple if you understand how it works. But this is basically going to activate a clock, which is going to tick every second. So every single second that it ticks, it is going to power redstone down these lines. Now, whether or not the hill is active is going to depend on this black concrete line here, which is going to allow those blocks to go up and send redstone signal through. So if this one was active, then it would have those blocks up. And if we go over to here, we can probably find one that is currently active. Yes, over here. So this one is currently active, so those blocks are up, completing the circuit. And apparently I missed some redstone here. We're going to have to fix that. So the way that the hills work is whenever the team is on, it's going to tick one of these lines depending on what team is currently giving points for, and it's going to be ticking that every single second as mentioned. Every second that it ticks is going to go back to the main machine over here, and it's going to tick a dropper, which is right here. That's basically going to send some swords all the way up here. And once it's up here, then it's going to start filling up inside of here from the bottom up. Because these hoppers are locked by default, that means that they are going to fill up this chest and go up. And then we just have a regular lighting circuit. Now that alarm did just go off, so that 10-minute timer is completely up. And as you can see, we have those lights that drop down, which is kind of a cool effect. And then instead of the game loading light being on, we have the game complete reset game. And then if you wanted to start another game, you would hit that game reset, wait for it to reset, the game would be ready, and then you can start another game. And apparently it's not quite spawn proof in here. We've been working on that. There's been a couple creeper explosions, which has not been any fun, but that zombie really wants that crater llama. Here, buddy, I give you this instead. Now I will tell you, this was not originally the plan for this episode. I was originally going to be building some more shops over inside of the shopping district, but we did kind of get sidetracked on this, so we're going to be doing that next episode. However, with this episode, like I said, there's a few different things on the redstone circuitry that I need to fix, so let's go ahead and jump into that. First things first, let's fly away and ow! Despawn the mobs, that way we don't run into any creepers down here. And let me give you guys a quick aerial view of this thing because it really is impressive. I think it looks really, really nice. We have all done such an amazing job putting this thing together. It originally was not planned to be this big, but you know how we are on Project Bedrock, we don't really do anything small. And of course, thinking about the King of the Hill game, I'm like, well, if I'm doing a King of the Hill, I might as well just do multiple hills. That way we can move around and have a lot of fun. So we do have a lot of temporary passageways that are going to be closed up once we're done with this. This is one of them, that way we can jump down here into the redstone. Now one of the things that I did forget to show you guys is if we go up here through all the spaghetti, this is one of my randomizers. Again, if you're interested in this, this is on my channel inside of a tutorial. It is an older one, but it still works amazing. This randomizer is what's responsible for selecting what hill is currently active. So the way that this thing works is we are basically powering 4 pistons at the exact same time with no delay or nothing in between it, and because of Bedrock's finicky redstone mechanics, we can basically have these pistons fight each other. However, it can't move anything because there is obsidian behind all of the pistons. Now this randomizer is going to be responsible for not only randomizing the room, but it's going to be responsible for the duration that the room is lit. And the way that we're doing that is because this thing has a chance of putting the same piston out. So a lot of the time it will change the room after 1 minute of being lit. I might make that a little bit longer, who knows, we'll have to see. But the room does have a chance to be active for longer than the 1 minute that it is set to now if that piston for a second time wins over the other 3. So theoretically, as long as this piston keeps winning, it could be 10 minutes long. However, the likelihood of that happening, you'll probably only ever see the rooms lasting 1, 2, or 3 minutes. And the way that we select how long the rooms are actually going to be lit is by the good old etho hopper clock. So every time this etho hopper clock cycles, it is going to change the randomizer via that observer. So if we wanted the rooms to cycle every 2 minutes, we would just have to add some items to this etho hopper clock, and if we wanted it less, we would just take some out of it. This is also going to be tied into the game starting circuit, and this is also going to be tied into the lighting above each of the hills. A few hours have passed IRL and I finished getting the door buttons wired up, so now we have this button on the outside that we can hit. That's going to open up the door, and then we can walk in here and it's going to close automatically behind us. Same thing with this button on the floor here. We can hit that, it's going to open up, let us out with a nice delay. That way we have plenty of time to get in and out, then it's going to close right behind us. I have been also doing little bits and bobs here and there. I ended up putting a door here because we needed a way to get into the actual arena. That way we could set the settings for the game. So if we open this up, it's going to take us to a little storage room back here that has some of the redstone. This is mainly going to be for me. However, there's some chests back here. That way I can store some of the game supplies. And then the exact same thing on this side as well. Now I'm going to be putting some signs here and on this side as well. That way if anybody wants to spectate the game, oh, looks like I missed a chest up there. So if you go over to the end here, there's actually a spectator stand, aka brewing stand, down underneath here. So if we walk over there, you can see it's going to put us into spectator mode. Then we can go and spectate the game all we would like. And then we could just go back over here. And on this side, we have a crafting table to get out of spectator mode, which is going to be a nice little feature just in case somebody wants to spectate the game. So I ended up adding this door as well. That way we can get into here. I added a little balcony to kind of route us around here. And then there is only a lever on this side. There's not a lever on the other side. That way nobody can go out of here whenever the game is running. So we can come through here, and then we're going to be able to do all of our settings, set how many players are playing, set the times for the hill, the times for the game, whether or not we want the upper story or not, and then we can go back out that door and close all of the doors behind us. If we go back through here, we can close these. That way the arena is locked up. And we can close this one as well. We're going to jump into spectator mode here. That way we could take a look at the hills. Now I did get them all wired up, so they are now good to go. And they are currently random, and they are also currently cycling. So we have this one here that's off. And then if we go to this one over here, that one's off as well. And then this one over here is on. So the cherry room is active, and you can get points at this room now. And then if we go to this one, it is off, because there's only one active at a time. Now I have tested all of the circuitry in between clips and it's working lovely. However, there's a few more things that we do need to fix on the redstone down below, because that is currently cycling because this lever is turned off. What I need to do is run a redstone line over to here. That way this etho hopper clock knows to turn off whenever the game is not running and knows to turn on whenever it is. During my testing of the hills, I found that 1 minute was way too short, so I ended up adding some more items into here. That way it is now cycling every 2 minutes. Here shortly we're going to test run this game and see if the 2 minutes is indeed enough time. I think it will be, however time will have to tell. Now I did want to pop onto my redstone testing world to show you what else I'm going to be adding to this mini game, which is going to add a lot of fun and a lot of life to the game. So if we go into here, I'll show you what I've been working on. And this right here is the circuit that I wanted to show you. Now I ended up building this specifically for the need of the mini game. However, this really didn't take a whole lot of time to design and build, and it works surprisingly well for what it is. So what exactly is it? This here is a floor mounted loot dispenser. The way that this works is you have a barrel here, and this barrel is going to be sticking out of the floor here at floor level. So all this from this point forwards is going to be down underneath the floor. As you can see, we have one item inside of here, which is currently a moss block. This is just for testing, but there's going to be a bunch of different items that you're going to want to have inside of this minigame. If you look down inside of here, we have a dropper, and inside of this dropper we have a bunch of different items, some non-stackable, some are stackable, but the purpose of everything in here was solely just to test it. And the way that this works is if you power this, it's going to move a hopper, and that hopper is going to put the item that comes out of this barrel right back inside of that dropper. And then whenever we power it again, it's going to move that dropper back over, and then it's going to have a dispenser power underneath it to tick it one time. And as you can see, we now have a sign inside of there. So it's essentially going to exchange one item at a time without giving two items ever in there at once. And we can say here and basically just exchange items. And due to the characteristics of the dropper, it's always going to be random for the item that's going to be dispensed inside of there. This is a very simple circuit, and there's going to be probably 5 of these in total, randomly dispensing items into the barrels that are going to be on the floor. Now back on the server, we're going to have this lever here, which I've pretty much decided to make the loot lever. So whenever this is turned on, you'll be able to have loot inside of the game. Whenever it's turned off, the loot will be turned off. But I'm thinking that there is going to be a loot dispenser in here, so probably center of the floor will be a barrel. And then I'm thinking in each one of the hills we're going to have the loot somewhere sporadically placed inside of here as well. So they're going to randomly have to find the barrel in each dedicated one, and I'm thinking that they're probably going to be pretty sporadic. They're not going to be kind of a stamp of each other. So one might have the barrel over here, and then the other room it might be clear across the way, just to kind of change things up a little bit and mix it up. I have also been very busy crafting some of the game items that we're going to need. So inside of this, I decided to go with the leather tunic, which is going to be dyed pink for the pink team. And then all of the other teams are going to have their own dedicated dyed leather armor. Then we also have some bows inside of here, which all of the teams will be able to have a bow each. However, the arrows, as discussed before, are going to pop up out of those loot containers. inside of this chest here, we're going to have some food as well. And it seems that we have Gigi here outside of the door. She's here. We're going to be testing this out here shortly, so let's see if this minigame works. Keep in mind, this is going to be one of the very first tests of all of this redstone. So you ready to test this out?
I am.
Hopefully everything works fine, and if it doesn't, then it's not my fault. Okay, so you're going to be the pink team. I'm going to be the cyan team to test this out so we can put all of our stuff in here. I might have some stuff in the chest, just ignore that. It's just minigame stuff. We're going to put everything back. Oh, here is a wooden sword for you.
Oh.
And then I have a wooden sword. And then do you have enough food? I'm using golden carrots. And I'm going to
43 of them.
I'm going to bring 10 of them. So I'm going to have to take off my armor too, huh? And my totem.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, are you taking your totem?
Shh, I'll sneak in there with the totem. That could be another loot item too. A totem could be really overpowered. Alright, so we got everything put up. We have the leather tunic, the wooden sword, and the food. And I have already went in and set all of the minigame up. So we're playing a 10-minute game, 5 minutes on the hill. The upper story is closed for now, and I think that's about it. And there's no loot inside of there as of yet, but there is going to be. Now, proximity chat. Should we change the proximity? That way, whenever we get close to each other, we can talk?
Yeah. I don't have any of that armor.
The sword should be inside of the top chest here. I put it in whenever you were putting your stuff up.
Oh, there it is.
The armor is inside of the room. I would grab one thing of the armor and put it on. I already have mine with me. The bows are inside of there. However, I would not use the bows because we don't have any of the arrows yet. So I would just use the swords. So it's kind of a test, but not a full test yet. So we're mainly just testing out the redstone. As far as the proximity setting goes, how far should we be able to hear each other? Like 10 blocks or so?
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, like 10, 16 at the most.
Okay, proximity is on, and it's set to 10 blocks. Can you hear me?
Perfect. Yes.
Okay.
I hear you.
So in order to go, I'm going to be moving that bed. You're just going to stand here and push the button. And then we'll find our way to our room. Oops, I meant to close that off. Oh well, just pretend like that's not open. So I already have my leather tunic on. I already have, well, I don't need a bow, and I already have my sword, so we don't need that. Now since we have it set on 2 players, we should be able to stand on this. And whenever she stands on her pressure plate... I don't know if she can hear me or not. Is that 10 blocks? There we go. Okay, this hill's not active. Whoa, I got all turned around. We do still have jump boosts. No. Okay, this one's active. Good, good. What color are we? We're blue. And I want to crouch so that way she can't see where my nameplate is. Oh, she forgot to... Okay. She forgot to sleep in the bed. I forgot to sleep in the bed too. Now we got to keep an eye on that light because whenever that changes, it's no longer going to give us points. I think she's coming over here. No, she looks like she's going to the other one. She's coming over here. I'm going to try to get the drop on her. Man! You probably heard me say that, huh?
I didn't hear you.
Got her! Okay, let's see what hill's active. What hill's active? Is it this one? Yes, this one's active. Perfect. I'll put her pot on my head. Yeah, there we go. Nice and fitting. That light's still on. Good. So here she comes. Oh wait.
We're in my pot, and you have my sword.
There's your sword. There's your sword.
This
No.
is fun.
No. No. You can have the sword, but you are not getting the pot back. I don't think I set my spawn.
It's hard to fight.
Got her. There. I'll throw a sword here. This hill's probably going to be changing here soon. Let's see. There we go. Getting some points. Oh, the hill just changed. No. There's your sword.
Thank you.
This room? This room? No, it's not this room. She doesn't know. It's not that room. We just came from that room. It's gotta be the pink one. Gotta be the cherry. Yes. Now keep in mind the note blocks are definitely not tuned yet, but they are going to be. They're going to sound a whole lot better than that, hopefully. I'm gonna run in here and set my spawn real quick. Just in case. I don't see her nameplate. I don't know where she went. Wonder if she's sneaking away. Oh, I wonder if she's camping the hill. Nope. She's over there. Is she getting points? Like she got a little bit of points. See if it's over inside. Yes. Not cyan, warped. The warped room. Here, camping the hill.
There you are. Hey, how do you activate the light?
The light is random. It changes every like 2 minutes. The light's completely random, so it changes every two minutes to every 4 minutes to every 6 minutes. It'll depend. So you have to find the hill that's active and it's randomly active, and the duration.
Oh.
The duration of it is how active it is, or how long it's active too. So it not only randomly changes, but the length of time that it's active changes too.
That makes sense now.
So there's only one. So there's only one active hill at a time, and you will not get any points unless you are underneath the active one. If that makes sense.
Alrighty.
Oh, I think that's. Is that yours? Yes, I got 2 of yours. There you go. Bye.
There.
Did you have any more questions? Ow! That's not a question. That is not a question.
I want my pot back. Give me my pot.
No.
I want my pot.
Oh man. Okay, I'm not spawn camping. That'd be mean. Let's see which one. Bamboo? Nope. Okay. Which one? Is it back over with cyan? Cyan. Yes. Not. I don't know why I'm calling it cyan. It's warp. No. Get out of here.
We need to get our name tags off.
Whoa! Where did you come from? Did you cut through? That's not even nice.
Get away. I'm cheating.
Nobody's
so
here.
bad.
Nobody's here. Is this hill even active? it's still active?
Turn around.
This is gonna be
For
so.
me.
This is gonna be so chaotic whenever there's a bunch of people in here.
No kidding, it's gonna be so fun.
My wooden sword's
Probably
about
have my
broken.
food there too, don't ya?
I think the game's up. I just barely heard the tone. Yep,
That was so much fun.
I agree. The game time was up. I plan on putting note blocks in all 4 of the hills. That way you can hear whenever the timer goes off. Because I barely heard it out of my left ear.
That's gonna be a blast. When we get more people, we could get upstairs open and stuff.
Well, I would say that was fantastic, and it worked out not perfectly, but a lot better than I thought it would. I figured that we would have to do a lot more fixing and repairing, but there is still a ton of stuff to fix. I did also find out in the end there that I need to make a way to open up the door whenever people are done playing the game, that way they can get back to the lobby and get their stuff, because whenever we hit that reset, it basically closes all of the doors, that way it can reset the game. However, we might just make it to where we don't hit the reset button after the last game, and then you can go in and out of the door as you please. But we are starting to run a little low on time for this episode, so let's jump into a time lapse and get a lot of this redstone stuff finished. Let's go! Did you know that I recently opened up a Patreon? This Patreon allows me to keep this channel making videos because of the reoccurring or the one-time financial support of my community. Becoming a Patreon also gives you a ton of awesome perks, such as early release videos, access to Patreon-only Discord channels, access to my Patreon-only Minecraft Bedrock survival server, and more. You even get your name on that Patreon appreciation page at the end of each video. Are you tight on funds? There's still a way that you can support the channel for free. By subscribing, liking, or leaving a comment, this tells the YouTube algorithm to show my videos to new people and help me reach my 1,000 subscriber goal. I do also have a public section of my Discord that is free to join for anybody. Feel free to join if you want to meet a ton of awesome like-minded people inside of a community that I am proud to be part of. Now enough jibber jabber, let's get back to the video. And flying back over top of the gaming district, you can see that we have a large majority of this minigame done. Well, I say minigame, it's really not a minigame anymore. But we do still have some cosmetic stuff to do. I think we're still going to be putting arches and stuff on the top here, which should make it look a whole lot better. And I think that we're going to be bringing the team starting rooms up a little bit to kind of match the rest of it. Well, not so much match it, but we're going to make it to where they're not as thin as they are now. That way it looks a little bit more proportionally correct, because right now they just kind of look very, very sandwiched next to these huge rooms here. Anyways, let's go ahead and go inside because we got quite a bit done and we are just about ready to get this thing up and running and have all of the members come over and play some King of the Hill. So if we go over here inside the Crimson Room, first and foremost, we have some banners that GG did. which turned out absolutely phenomenal. She has the red one for the Crimson Room, and then me, Renee, and Gigi, and a few of the other members have been over here working very, very hard to get all of this put together. And as you can see, the Crimson Room has came out very, very nice. And if we take a quick look at the other ones, you'll be able to see that they are for the most part complete too. This is another one of the banners that Gigi made, which leads into the bamboo room. Now, I just finished up a stream a little bit ago, and on that stream I ended up putting together this cool little bamboo house. I figured that that would be one of the only things that would fit in here because there's really not bamboo trees. So I figured this room would have a little bamboo hut inside of it, and I think it came out really good. Now, I ended up putting this in here, that way nobody can go in there and hide. I guess they still kind of can, but because you can see right through that door, it really isn't a good hiding spot. Or maybe it is. I guess we'll have to wait and see. I ended up sneaking in some sugarcane just because it looks like little tiny bamboo, and then we got a bunch of other bamboo. Renee was a big help getting all of this stuff placed in and decorating this room. And then, of course, the balcony, which you guys have already seen. And then if we go over here to the warped room, to be able to see that the warped room is pretty much done as well. We have a whole bunch of warped trees inside of here, along with the twisting vines coming up out of the floor. Bunch of fungus and nether grasses planted, and overall it just has a really cool vibe inside of here. This is one of the cyan banners that Gigi put together. And then we have the cherry room over here. And if we scoot in over here real quick, you can see the cherry room, which you have probably already seen multiple times before. But this is, for the most part, all of the rooms complete. We might still add finishing touches here and there, but for the most part, that's going to conclude about what they're going to look like. Now, over here, I did put in the loot dispensers inside of the front of this little podium here. This podium will basically have all of the settings, what they do, and basically instructions for the minigame. There's also going to be another book with the King of the Hill rules out in the front entrance area. And just overall a ton of little touches that have to be finished up, and those are kind of the more tedious and time consuming ones. And as you can see, we have the pink banner over here too, which I did forget to mention the pink one, but they are all pretty much the same scheme. They just have their corresponding colors. As far as the loot system, we have the loot system marked inside of the gold here. And then if you want the loot system on, you can go ahead and turn that lever on, and then the loot system will be active whenever the game is running. So that is all hooked up and ready to go. Everything has been tested and is functioning properly. So yeah, pretty much all that's left to do is to finish up all of these little tedious tasks, which will probably be something that me and the other members take care of on stream, and then we're going to get this thing opened up so some members can play it, which should be a ton of fun. But with that being said, I think we're kicking about 50 minutes on this video, which is about a double episode. So let's go ahead and wrap it up here. I do really hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and I really hope that you guys like the King of the Hill minigame. Keep in mind, this is going to be available on the world download whenever the end of the season comes up and we offer the world for download. So make sure that you get the world download. That way you guys can get together with your friends and play the King of the Hill minigame along with all of the other minigames as well. If you enjoyed the video, please drop a like on your way out, as it really does help out the channel. And if you really enjoyed the content, then make sure that you subscribe. That way you don't miss any of my upcoming videos in the future. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.